Angelina Jolie entered the world on June 4, 1975 in Los Angeles, into a family that already lived inside Hollywood's spotlight. Her father, Jon Voight, was a celebrated actor, while her mother, Marceline Bertrand, was a devoted parent trying to balance dreams and responsibility. Yet the glamour people imagined around their lives never truly existed inside their home. When Angelina was still very young, her parents separated, and the absence of her father became a quiet but powerful force in her childhood. Her mother raised Angelina and her brother largely on her own, working tirelessly to keep stability in their lives. Money was often tight, and the emotional distance from her father left questions that a child couldn't easily answer. Those early years shaped Angelina deeply. Long before red carpets or global fame, she was simply a girl learning resilience in a home where love was present, but certainty was not. Feeling different in a world of expectations. Growing up in Los Angeles might sound glamorous, but for young Angelina, it often felt isolating. At school, she struggled with confidence and rarely felt like she fit in. Her tall frame, striking features, and quiet personality made her stand out in ways that felt uncomfortable rather than empowering. Surrounded by classmates connected to Hollywood's elite, she sometimes felt like an outsider looking in. Friends were few, and she often turned inward, spending time thinking, reading, or imagining other worlds. Those teenage years carried emotional weight, and she has spoken openly about feeling misunderstood and unsure of her place. Yet, even in that uncertainty, something powerful was forming. The sensitivity that made her feel different would later become the emotional depth audiences noticed in her acting. What once felt like a burden slowly became the foundation for empathy, creativity, and a deeper understanding of human emotion. Discovering a voice through acting. During her late teenage years, Angelina began studying acting seriously. She enrolled at the Lee Strasberg Theatre and Film Institute, where she discovered that performing could give shape to emotions she struggled to express in everyday life. Acting allowed her to step into other perspectives and tell stories that felt raw and honest. For Angelina, the stage was not only a career path, but also a form of understanding herself. Early auditions were difficult, and being the daughter of a famous actor brought its own complications. People wondered whether opportunities came from talent or family name. Instead of avoiding the pressure, she worked harder, determined to prove her abilities. Those years of training and persistence gradually opened doors. Directors began noticing her intensity and authenticity, qualities that made her stand out in a competitive industry. Slowly, the uncertain young woman started transforming into a performer who commanded attention. Hollywood finally takes notice. Angelina's breakthrough arrived in the late 1990s when audiences began to recognize the depth she brought to complex characters. Her performance in the television film Gia revealed a fearless ability to portray emotional complexity, earning her a Golden Globe Award. Soon after, her role in Girl captured international attention. The performance was bold, layered, and unforgettable, ultimately earning her the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. At only 24, Angelina had achieved what many actors spend decades pursuing, yet fame arrived with complications. Public fascination grew quickly, and every aspect of her personality became a topic of discussion. While her talent was undeniable, the spotlight could be intense and sometimes overwhelming. Still, this moment marked the beginning of a career that would place her among the most recognizable figures in modern cinema. A life changed by motherhood. One of the most transformative chapters of Angelina's life began far from Hollywood. While visiting Cambodia during the filming of Lara Croft Tomb Raider, she witnessed poverty and hardship that deeply affected her perspective. During that time, she adopted her first child, Maddox, beginning a journey into motherhood that reshaped her priorities. Becoming a parent gave her a renewed sense of purpose and responsibility. She later adopted Zahara from Ethiopia and Pax from Vietnam, building a family that crossed cultures and continents. For Angelina, motherhood was not simply about raising children, but about creating a home built on empathy and understanding. She often described her children as the reason she focused on building a meaningful life beyond fame. The actress who once felt lost in the spotlight now found direction in nurturing a family and using her influence to support children around the world. Love, fame, and a global family. Angelina's relationship with Brad Pitt brought together two of Hollywood's most famous figures. After meeting while filming Mr. and Mrs. Smith, their partnership quickly became one of the most talked about relationships in entertainment. Together, they created a blended family that included both adopted and biological children. In 2006, they welcomed their daughter, Shiloh, and later twins, Knox and Vivian. The family often travelled together, balancing film projects with humanitarian missions. Around the world, people saw them as a symbol of modern family life that crossed national and cultural boundaries. Their shared commitment to global issues made them more than celebrities. They became influential voices in humanitarian conversations. For several years, their life seemed almost like a modern fairy tale, where love, career success, and social impact existed side by side. Humanitarian work beyond Hollywood. While her acting career continued to flourish, Angelina increasingly devoted her time to humanitarian causes. She became a special envoy for the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees and travelled to refugee camps across the world. From Africa to the Middle East, she met families displaced by conflict and listened to stories rarely heard on global stages. Instead of simply lending her name to charitable efforts, she visited communities directly and spoke about their challenges to international leaders. Her work expanded public awareness about refugee crises and humanitarian needs. Over time, she also began directing films and writing about global issues, using storytelling to highlight voices that might otherwise remain unheard. For Angelina, advocacy was not separate from her identity as an artist. Both paths were ways of sharing human stories and encouraging compassion across borders. Health decisions that sparked global conversation. In 2013, Angelina shared deeply personal news that sparked worldwide discussion about health awareness. After learning she carried a genetic mutation linked to a high risk of certain cancers, she chose preventive medical procedures and wrote openly about the decision in the New York Times. Her honesty encouraged countless people to learn about genetic testing and proactive healthcare. Doctors even referred to the surge in medical inquiries as the Angelina effect. By speaking publicly, she helped remove stigma around discussions of women's health and medical prevention. Although the decisions were personal and complex, she approached them with transparency so that others could feel informed and empowered. Her openness reminded people that public figures also face difficult health choices, and that sharing knowledge can help others make decisions about their own well-being. Life in a quieter chapter. Today, Angelina Jolie lives a far quieter life than during the height of her Hollywood fame. She continues directing films and supporting humanitarian projects, while spending much of her time with her children as they grow into independent adults. Several of them are now pursuing their own interests in education, art, and film. Watching them step into adulthood brings both pride and reflection. For Angelina, motherhood has always been the centre of her identity, and seeing her children develop their own paths is one of her greatest achievements. She speaks less frequently about fame and more about purpose, empathy, and personal growth. The woman once defined by headlines now appears more focused on meaningful work and family connections. Her life today reflects a quieter strength built through years of learning, change, and perseverance, a legacy beyond fame. Angelina Jolie's story is not simply about beauty or celebrity success. It is about transformation. From a childhood shaped by uncertainty to a career that captured global attention, her journey reflects resilience and growth. She has experienced personal challenges, major career achievements, and moments that inspired worldwide conversations about humanitarian work and health awareness. Through it all, she has remained committed to raising her children with compassion and encouraging understanding across cultures. Her legacy is likely to extend beyond the films she starred in or the awards she received. Instead, it may rest in the conversations she sparked and the lives she influenced through advocacy. In many ways, Angelina Jolie's story reminds us that true strength is not defined by perfection, but by the willingness to keep evolving and helping others along the way.